Hello my crafty friends, Corrine here from Corrine Crafts. I hope you are well. Well, I've got a lovely tutorial for you today. Something really straightforward and quite simple. What we have done is I have created this gorgeous background using my alcohol inks, which you know I love to use. Then I've got my die cut. But my die cut wasn't big enough for the page, so I have cut it and I've stretched it. But then that meant I needed something in the middle to bridge the gap where the die cut was. I've shown you how to make a faux background with or a faux matte layer rather, should I say, with some vellum and then just a couple of little gems dotted around, and that is it. It's really simple, but it's so bright and cheerful, isn't it? Just what we want to see. And now I'm going to show you how I made it. So we'll start off this video with a bit of Yupo paper. We call Yupo paper this paper or card, and this one has got a 318 GSM, so it's quite a nice thick one, but it's not really paper, it's plastic. I've talked about this before, but it's really good for your alcohol inks because it doesn't soak into it, it retains the colours. If you don't have this, you can use photo paper. Oops, I've just knocked all those over. There's lots of other things you can do. I've seen our lovely Lou recently use alcohol inks on sellotape because that's plastic. It works really well on vellum because it can't soak in. Your photo papers that you would put in your printer, absolutely brilliant too. But I'm going to do it on the Yupo. So I've got a few colours here, and there are a couple of different ways to move your alcohol ink, and I'm going to be using my isopropanol alcohol. It's a 99.9% alcohol. It's very strong. So I do have my window open. It is very well ventilated in here, and I'm sure I could decant it into a smaller bottle. So I just put a little bit, I don't know if you can see this. You can't see this. I've just put a dropper in, and I'm going to put most of it back in. So I've just got the tiniest bit in the end there. So that's on there. So that's ready. I've also got an air puffer. You can pick these up really cheaply. And I'm going to start with my ink. So I'm going to pop a little bit of some ink onto here. So I've cut this down to 4.5 by 5 3/4, if I remember rightly. I think so. I can check in a minute. So I'm going to pop a couple of drops on. I always get a bit concerned about this yellow because it always has quite a few brown hues to it, but don't worry. Now, I'm going to, like I say, I'm going to be using isopropanol alcohol. That helps to move the alcohol, and I think the colours stay nice and vibrant with isopropanol. So you can pop that one on there. Actually, I've gone a bit far over to the edge. My other one, I haven't gone quite so far. I've kept it a bit more in the middle, but it's fine. Then once that's puffered about, it dries really quickly. So I'm going to put another one on. Let's try and come into the middle a little bit and put one on like that. And then I might come down here. As long as I keep them separate, they should be okay. I'm going to put a red one down there. And then I'm going to come back in with my dropper. I'm going to pop a drop in. Now you can really control this. Can you see how soon as I do that, the colours start to move? So they're not going to blend in the same way as if I'd used a blending solution, because that's the other one. So the blending solution makes the colours mix, and I think they get a little less vibrant. So I'm going to come in with the green. They dry so quickly on here. It's quite impressive. I can come back in with some more colours in a minute. It doesn't matter. So let's just put one drop on. Get it to move. I want nice, what I'm after definite colours. I'm after definite colour blocks. If I find it's a little bit, I can always go back in because that isopropanol alcohol is still in the middle, and I can always just puffer it about a bit. Just blend it up. Always put your lids back on. I find that if I don't put my lids straight back on, I sometimes forget, and then I get leaks in the box. Let's just put that one on there. I want, like I say, I want very definite colours on these. So let's just let that blue do its thing. I don't even need to puff it out a bit. I might actually see what happens if I do. So you can see this, where it's picking up the isopropanol alcohol from the other colours, it's moving on its own. So I can just steer it. I'm more using the puffer to steer it in the direction that I want it to do. Now this red's gone a little bit brown, so I'm just going to put another little blob on there, and it'll pick up the isopropanol, so I don't need to put any more on, so I can just give it a nice little blow around. Now, as I said, I want the colours to stay quite vibrant, so I can always go in and add another little bit. And this is just making a really pretty background for me. And I'm going to mute some of it down. That's why I'm trying to get it quite strong. But like this yellow here. There. Oh, that bit's a bit wet there. But this bit here has dried. I've just put finger marks in that. I thought that had dried. That bit hadn't. There we go. Let's blend those out. Hey, got rid of those. But you can leave that to dry. Now, like I say, I could have moved those colours more, but I wanted a lovely shiny background with very definite colours. Now, you can blend them out a lot more. You can do a lot more blowing. You can make floral patterns. I just wanted some strong colours. Now, it's still got a little bit of tackiness to it. So I've got one here, just like this, that's dried. You can see I've kept a little bit more white down the side. Still my yellow's gone. And I've just mounted it. Have I mounted it on there? No, it hasn't. It's just stuck. Thought it had. I'm going to mount that onto some white card, but I'm not going to do that just yet. I thought I'd stuck that down for a minute then. But that, I was thinking, I didn't mean to do that. And I hadn't. It just stuck. Now I've got that. So as you can see, what I'm going to do in a minute is I've got myself a card base. Let's measure the card base so that I can give you the measure. And I've got so many projects on the go at once. I've sort of prepped quite a few because it's drying bits. So I can't find things. Right. 5 and just over 5 1/4 by 6 1/2. There we go. 5 1/4 by 6 1/2. And as I said before, we have, yes, 4 1/2 by 5 3/4. That's what I said it was. So yeah, so just cut that out. So I've got my card base and I'm going to put the gold on. I can put the gold on now actually, because that can be then drying, can't it? Just some gold mirror card. Now somebody asked me about this because it's really shiny, and it is a very inexpensive gold mirror card that I just picked up off Amazon. Let's move that out of the way. But it is very, very shiny, and I think it's very, very shiny because it was very inexpensive, if that makes sense. I think sometimes more expensive ones are a little bit less bright. So there we go. Right, so put that on there. Yeah, you can see, probably see my cat. Oh, look, there's me in there. Yeah, right, so let's just put that to dry for a minute and I'll show you what I'm going to do. So I have got a flower die. Now this is my hellebore. It's like an outline floral. Brilliant for doing paper piecing. We're not going to do paper piecing today. We're going to do something a little bit different. So let's take it off there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it out of some gold card. Trim that down and run that through my die cutting machine. Okay, let me do that. And this, let me tip it out, is what you get. Now, isn't that absolutely gorgeous? Now, this die does not come with a matte layer. So what I would do with this is, you see me do this before, I pop it down onto my vellum and I'm just going to draw all the way around the outside with a pencil. And once I've drawn around the outside with a pencil, I'm going to trim it out. And I've done one because you don't need to watch this. So this is all I've done here. And I'm going to pop it behind here so that you can see. So you can see, look, I've drawn around that outside. So with my cutting line is equivalent of there. Now, if you've got a electronic cutting machine, you might be able to cut this out of black and then scan it in and then put a 1mm border around and then cut it out of your vellum. So long as you don't save your images, you're all right. You can just use them as cutting files. So I've now got my gold and I've got my vellum. And so can you see that difference? I'm going to show you on here. Let me find my pokey tool. The gold is cut to here. Let me show you. It's cut to there, look. Then you have this border, which you need to have on your dies. So my gold is cut to there and my vellum is cut to this outside edge because, as you remember, I put it onto there and drew round it. Oh, you need to see it that way around. Yeah. So you can create your own mats. It's really, really easy to do. So that means that I can now put this onto here. And the great thing is, I found that if you get any pencil marks on your vellum, all you need to do is get your glue pickup tool and just give them a rub and the pencil marks come off really, really easy. So, I mean, I've cut it on the pencil line, but there might be a couple of pencil marks left. Just give it a rub and they come straight off. Okay, so let's stick this onto here. So you can do it in many different ways. You could put this onto some sticky adhesive before you cut it out. You could use your precision glue gun. It's entirely up to you. What I'm going to do, let's see if I can do it on here without catching up those inks. Bring this mat in again. I'm going to get my dotty tape pen, and I'm just going to, now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out. I'm going to do my strokes like that, but I'm always doing them from the centre out. If I start coming in, I'm going to rough it all up by accident. So all I'm doing is just centre out so that I don't snag my card. It's just the best way to do it. You can see on there. I need to put some in the middle because I am going to be trimming it down. And we can trim it down there like that. Yeah, let's get rid of that again. Then I'm going to get my vellum. Now I just have to be careful because once it touches, and it'll grab. I need to lift it up so I can actually see it because I've got a grey worktop and the vellum is just disappearing onto the worktop. So let's just see if I can get that. I found this quite hard to do when I did one in practice as well. It's not the easiest thing to do because your border is so slim and the adhesive tries to grab. There. Oh, that's not bad. That's not bad. There we go. So I've now created that mat. Look at that. Now, if you could do that onto acetate, if you wanted a paper piece, you could colour these in and make like a stained glass window effect. They'd be absolutely beautiful. But this now is going to go over there. And so you can see how you've got the bright colours behind and then it mutes it. Now, that looks nice, but I don't think it looks anything too special. So I thought, okay, I'll put a border through the middle. And all I've done is I've got one of my Sharon Callis dies. I've got it here. I've cut my Celebrate out in gold and I put it onto a strip of white card. And then I've cut a piece of vellum, just a little bit thicker. So let's stick that onto there. And we're going to make a border to go down the middle. I've had the glue open without putting the lid on it. It's very warm in my craft room. Let's do right and close the lid so I don't get that little cap on. And then I can put this onto here. Let's just make sure. I don't matter, it doesn't have to be centred up towards the end because we're going to be folding those off. But I just need to make sure the top and the bottom there are centred. I think they are. Yeah, let's just put that. And so what we're going to do is we're going to wrap this around here. So before I stick the flower on, let's work out where that needs to go. Now, I've shown you how to do it. This is a good way to do this, is to get that onto there. Then I need my mat. I'm going to pop this on to here, centered it, and turn that over. And then I'm going to get my score tool. Oh, I can't find that, so I'll use pokey tool. And I'm just going to score one and then fold that around. Make sure it's still nice and straight. Yep. I can see it just starting to bubble a little bit on that side. So let's just unglue that bit. Then I'm going to score down there. Pokey tools can be used for so many things. And then fold that on there. And then that is the perfect round. So the next thing I did was I put this in and I've got a bit above, but I've lost most of it. So I thought, that's not right. Actually, that'll work. I could stick that down, couldn't I? Let's do that with a little bit of red liner tape. You see, I think of these ideas, but I don't always think about how to execute them properly until I'm actually doing it. And then you're like, oh, then you sort of take yourself down a rabbit hole of how actually am I going to execute this? But never mind, we get there. Let's put that onto there like that. Look at this, where the inks came through. Okay, so like I said, when I put that onto there, I thought you lose most of it. So I've got another one here and we can play around with this. What I could do is I could put it like that. And then I had another one and I could put it like that and then just have them sort of overlapping. But I thought what I could do, be efficient, is I've just cut it in half. just literally across the middle. So I can put one half there, and so long as I stick it down so that the cut line is below the card, how about that? Now you see, I think that is absolutely stunning because it really elongates it and fills up. Can you see before it didn't? That's what I want to do. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to go back with my dotty tape pen because it won't show up through the vellum over the back. And then I'm going to pop that, like I say, into there, making sure, you can see that I've gone below that halfway line because I don't want to see that cut, and then put that down. Let's do the other one. Let's go dotty tape pen. Let's put a bit down there where it's going to be hidden, and a little bit down to the ends. And then we can bring that. Don't worry about it lining up because it's going to be that. It's not going to matter. Put that like that and like that. How about that? Then what I could do actually, I think, is I'm just going to get a little, tiniest little bit of, I don't want that to be sort of flapping about. Actually, I'll put it down the middle there. Look, can you just see I'm just putting a bit of glue down there? And then all I'm going to do is press that down. Just give that a second. Just that tacky glue to grab. It'll hide then everything, the workings. And how about that? Doesn't that look beautiful? So what we've got is got the bright colours, and then I've shown you this before. The vellum mutes the colours behind where the vellum is. So you've got that muted colour, then you've got the bright colour. So I think that really, really works. And then that is going to go on to my white layer. And I think I hadn't decided. Yes, I'm going to put that on flat. So what I can do, I hadn't quite decided at that point. Take that one off. And take that one off. Oh, it's sticking to me. And then I'm going to just take the Yupo is double-sided, so it is shiny on both sides, but tacky glue will stick most things as long as you give it time. So we can then take this, turn it over, and then line that up. I've got my hands behind here, so I'm just actually elevating it where that red liner is, so that the red liner isn't having a chance to grab until I'm happy for it to go down. I've only gone up by 1/8 of an inch, so it is the slimmest of borders, but it just gives me that little bit. So I've just got that nice white all the way around the outside. Now you could have put this band around both of those layers, but I had to think about it, and I actually just wanted it around the one. Okay, so the next thing we've got, remember I put the gold onto here, which is just lifting a little bit. Should have put my weight over the top of it, shouldn't I? So this is going to go on here. So I think we need a little bit of a lift. Back to my Sticks 2 tape, my foam tape, which you know I love. So we'll put some pieces on here. If we're doing multiple layers, I've shown you before how we cross hatch them so that they go in different directions, and that works really, really well. Yeah, wasn't quite as perfect as I would have liked, the length, but we get away with that, don't we? There we are. Perfect. Look at that. I can't believe I've got through that big roll. I saw recently that Sticks 2 had an offer on one of those rolls. It was something like 80 odd p for the black. I was like, I should have got about 3. It was an amazing deal. It was 45 metres for about 80p. You need to keep an eye on Sticks 2. Get on their mailing list because they're always coming out with good offers. So yes, make sure you do it. Right, a little bit of wet glue on there because the foam tape will grab really quickly to the mirror card. They just really like each other, so they always grab really, really hard. I'm upside down, and then we can pop that on there, just like that. And I think it definitely needs just a little something to lift it. Water droplets would be perfect. This sheet's getting a little bit low, isn't it? Luckily I've got some more sheets. Let's put them on where there is ink, because I think that'll look Really cool. That was 3. So we're going to have to go 5. 3 isn't enough. 4. And 1 more. Oh, where did that go? There we go. 5. There we are. And that, very simple, really, you know, not two-dimensional, because I know sometimes we need cards that are going to be able to be lifted, but that is how to elongate your die cuts and how to really make your alcohol inks work as a background for you. Really, really pleased with that. Nice and quick and easy, not too complicated, but very, very effective. There you go. I hope you enjoyed that. Nice and quick one for you today. As always, all my links will be down at the bottom, including my link to my Buy Me a Coffee page and also the links to all the supplies that you can pick up. So I hope you like what you've seen. Please don't forget to click on any of the links to other tutorials. I'll try and link to some other ones of my alcohol inks. I think that will be a good one. And also my subscribe link will be up at the top. So until next time, my crafty friends, I hope you are enjoying your crafting. If this really sort of piques your attention and you think, oh yes, I would enjoy doing something like that with alcohol inks, you could do it with watercolours, you could do it with so many different ones. I'd love to see what you make. So please, please do share your makes with me. Until next time, take care. And I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.